Most people think laziness is a personality flaw, that you either have discipline or you don't. But in Japan, laziness is seen very differently. It's not a lack of motivation, it's a failure of systems. There is a simple Japanese rule that quietly eliminates procrastination before it even starts. No hype, no motivation speeches. Just a small shift in how you begin. This rule doesn't rely on willpower because willpower runs out. Instead, it works with human nature, not against it. Once you understand this rule, starting tasks feels lighter, easier, almost automatic. And that's why it works. Rule number 1, start before you feel ready. Most people wait for motivation before they begin. They wait to feel inspired, focused, or confident. And while they wait, nothing happens. In Japan, there is a quiet understanding that motivation is unreliable. Feelings change. Energy rises and falls. If action depends on how you feel, consistency becomes impossible. This is why the first rule is simple. Start before you feel ready. This rule works because the human brain resists starting, not doing. The hardest part of any task is the first few moments. Once movement begins, resistance drops. In Japanese culture, action is often treated as a way to create the right state of mind, not the result of it. You move first, your mind follows. Think about how trains leave the station at a fixed time. They do not wait for the passengers to feel motivated to board. The schedule exists to remove hesitation. In the same way, this rule removes the question of, "Do I feel like it?" from your day. You begin because it is time to begin. Starting does not mean finishing. It does not mean doing your best work. It only means entering the task. You sit down, you open the notebook, you stand up and take the first step. That is all. Once you start, your body adjusts, your breathing slows, your focus sharpens, the work begins to carry you forward. This rule kills laziness because laziness is often just fear in disguise. Fear of effort, fear of imperfection, fear of starting something that might be uncomfortable. By starting before you feel ready, you bypass these fears. You don't argue with your mind. You don't try to convince it. You simply move. Over time, your brain learns something important. Starting is safe. Starting is simple. And when starting becomes automatic, laziness quietly disappears. Rule number 2, shrink the task until it feels almost too easy. In Japanese philosophy, effort is respected, but force is not. There is a deep understanding that when something feels heavy, the problem is not you. The problem is the way the task is shaped. This idea appears in many parts of Japanese life, from craftsmanship to samurai training. They believed progress comes from correct form, not overwhelming strength. Samurai did not train by fighting full battles every day. A young warrior would repeat a single sword movement thousands of times. One step, one cut, one breath. The task was intentionally small, but perfectly done. This was not laziness. This was wisdom. By shrinking the action, resistance disappeared and mastery slowly formed. This rule works the same way. When a task feels big, your mind creates tension. Tension leads to delay. Delay becomes procrastination. Instead of pushing harder, the Japanese approach is to reduce the task until it feels almost too easy to avoid. Not writing a chapter, writing one sentence. Not exercising for an hour, putting on your shoes. Not cleaning the whole room, clearing one corner. There is a Japanese concept called Kaizen, which means continuous improvement through small steps. Kaizen is powerful because it respects human nature. It understands that consistency beats intensity. A small action done daily creates momentum. A big action done once creates exhaustion. When you shrink the task, you remove fear. There is nothing to argue about. Your mind does not feel threatened. You begin without drama, and once you begin, something interesting happens. Small actions grow naturally. One sentence often becomes a paragraph. One movement becomes a flow. This rule kills laziness because it replaces pressure with ease. You stop trying to overpower your mind and instead guide it gently forward. Like a samurai sharpening his blade patiently, you move step by step, and progress becomes inevitable. Rule number 3, create a fixed starting ritual. In Japan, discipline is not built through force. It is built through ritual. Ritual removes choice, and choice is where laziness hides. When something becomes a ritual, it no longer depends on mood, energy, or motivation. It simply happens. You can see this clearly in Japanese culture. The tea ceremony is not rushed or improvised. Every movement is fixed. The bowl is placed the same way. The water is poured the same way. The hands move in the same order every time. This structure is not meant to restrict. It is meant to free the mind. When the body knows what to do, the mind can rest. Samurai lived the same way. Before training or battle, they followed strict routines, waking at the same hour, cleaning their weapons, sitting in silence. These rituals prepared the mind for action. They did not ask themselves how they felt that morning. The ritual carried them forward. This rule works because starting is the hardest part of any task. A fixed ritual removes that struggle. You don't decide when to begin or how to begin. The beginning is already decided. Same time, same place, same small action. Your ritual does not need to be dramatic. It can be as simple as opening a notebook, lighting a candle, making tea, or sitting at the same desk every day. What matters is repetition. Over time, your brain links the ritual with focus. The moment the ritual begins, resistance fades. Laziness thrives in uncertainty. Should I start now or later? How long should I work? Ritual answers these questions before they appear. Like a gate opening at the same hour each day, the path is already clear. This is why rituals are powerful. They turn effort into habit. And once something becomes habit, laziness loses its place to hide. Rule number 4, focus on the process, not the result. In Japanese philosophy, the value is placed on how something is done, not just on what is achieved. This way of thinking is deeply rooted in Bushido, the samurai code. A samurai was judged not only by victory, but by conduct, calmness, precision, and presence in each moment. The result was never fully in his control. The process was. Modern laziness often comes from pressure. We imagine the final outcome, success, failure, judgment, and our mind freezes. The task becomes heavy because the future is heavy. The Japanese approach removes this weight by narrowing attention to the action in front of you. This mindset appears in traditional arts like calligraphy and archery. In Kyudo, Japanese archery, hitting the target is not the main goal. Archers focus on posture, breathing, grip, and release. When the process is correct, the arrow lands where it should. When you chase the target, your form collapses. Samurai train this way as well. They practiced movements slowly, repeatedly, without thinking about battle or outcome. Each step mattered. Each breath mattered. This trained a mind that could act without hesitation. When you focus on process, laziness loses power. You are no longer asking, will this be worth it? Or, what if I fail? You are only asking, what is the next correct action? Write the next line, make the next cut, take the next step. This creates calm instead of tension. Effort becomes lighter because it is no longer tied to expectations. You are no longer carrying the future on your shoulders. You are standing fully in the present. This rule works because the mind can handle one step. It cannot handle an entire imagined future. By respecting the process, you free yourself from pressure. And when pressure disappears, movement becomes natural. Rule number 5, stop at the right time, not when you're exhausted. In Japanese culture, discipline is balanced with awareness. There is a quiet understanding that stopping is just as important as starting. Working until exhaustion is not seen as strength. It is seen as a loss of control. True discipline leaves something in reserve. Samurai trained with this mindset. They did not practice until their bodies collapsed. They stopped while their movements were still sharp. This preserved form, prevented injury, and more importantly, kept the desire to return. Ending training with energy left meant the body remembered the work as something sustainable, not something to avoid. This rule works because your mind remembers how an activity ends. If you always stop when you are drained, stressed, or frustrated, your brain learns to resist starting next time. The task becomes associated with pain. Laziness is often just avoidance of remembered exhaustion. Japanese craftsmen follow the same principle. They step away from their work before fatigue dulls their attention. This protects quality and respect for the craft. It also creates a quiet pull to continue later. When you stop at the right time, you leave a thread unfinished. The mind dislikes incomplete loops. It wants to return. This creates natural motivation without forcing it. You wake up already leaning toward the task instead of away from it. Stopping early is not quitting. It is strategy. It is understanding your limits and working with them instead of against them. A blade is sharpened carefully, not ground down until it breaks. This rule kills laziness by changing memory. Work becomes something you can return to willingly. And when returning feels easy, consistency becomes inevitable. These Japanese rules do not fight laziness. They make it unnecessary. They work quietly through structure, simplicity, and respect for human nature. The samurai did not rely on motivation. Craftsmen did not rush results. They built systems that carried them forward even on difficult days. When you start before you feel ready, shrink the task, Follow a ritual, honor the process, and stop with energy left, effort becomes lighter. This is not about doing more. It is about moving correctly. And when your actions are shaped with care, laziness fades without a fight, replaced by calm, steady progress.